Alaikum, Sheikh.
Samtullah.
Prophet ﷺ once saw a man sitting and leaning on the heel or the palm of his left hand behind his back, and he said, and I quote, "Are you sitting in the manner of those with whom Allah is angry with sit?" End quote. Who is the Prophet ﷺ referring to here in this hadith? Jazakallah khairan.
Wajazakum. It is prohibited for Muslims to sit and lean back on the palm of the left hand, doing this. So you lean back only on the open palm of your left hand. This is the way that the Jews pray or sit, according to the hadith. And this is prohibited. To do it on both hands, no problem. To do it on the fist of your left hand, no problem. In that, the haram is to lean back on the palm of the left hand, and Allah knows best. And I was sitting once, and I was half in the shade and half in the sun. So my teacher told me that I shouldn't do that. When I asked for the reason, he said, because this is where shaitan sits. So he's asking me, can you elaborate? Yeah, I can easily elaborate. This is what the Prophet told us, alayhi salatu wasalam. There are so many things, Yahya, that we believe without understanding, because this is part of our religion. Allah described us in the beginning of Surah Al-Baqarah that we believe in the unseen. So if I were to tell you that, Akhi, here is a mine gold. You said, wait, I can't see anything. You will not believe me. But when Allah tells us that there are angels around us, there are jinn around us, there is heaven and hell with so many things in them, there is torment in the grave, we say, we believe. People say, believe in what? Are you crazy? Can you see anything? No, but I can believe and relate because I believe in the Quran. I believe in Muhammad alayhi salatu wasalam, our messenger, and I believe in the existence of Allah. So anything else is by default. Therefore, when we wake up, we sniff water up our nostrils 3 times and blow it out. Why? The Prophet tells us because Satan or the devil sleeps over our nostrils. Did you see that? No, but you believe it and do it. Those who oversleep and not pray Fajr on time, Satan urinates in their ears. Have you felt the urine? I said, no, I haven't seen Satan to feel his urine. Likewise, when you wear one pair of shoes and walk barefooted with the other foot, this is the way that shaitan walks. I haven't seen the shaitan, but the Prophet told me this and I believe in it. This is the dividing line between believers and disbelievers. So we believe when the Prophet tells us, do not sit in the middle of the shade where half of you is in shade and the other is the sun, because this is where shaitan sits. We say, Sami'na wa ata'na. We hear and adhere and obey, because this is what the Prophet told us during prayer. The vast majority of scholars say that closing the eyes during prayer is not recommended. It is not something that is mustahab. It is makruh. It is not from the sunnah. Yes, a lot of the people, Satan may mess up with their heads and say to them, when you close your eyes, you're closer to Allah Azza wa Jal, and you're less distracted by what's happening in front of you. But this is stage 1. This is the first step of Satan. And after a while, he will say, well, maybe putting something like earmuffs or something in your ears so that you don't listen to something. Maybe if it's dark, it's best for you. Maybe if you pray in an isolated room, not in the masjid, little by little. This is how shaitan creeps into our heads and isolates us from the sunnah and isolates us from other Muslims. This is not right. The vast majority of Muslims say that this is not part of the sunnah, otherwise the Prophet would have done it, alayhi salatu wasalam. So this is not part of Islam. Yes, maybe some sects and cults may do it and encourage people to do it, like the Sufis. but it's not from Islam. However, something that is abnormal, something that's not usual, that so happened in that particular prayer once in a blue moon, then that is permissible for you to close your eyes in salat. For example, while you're praying, you get a 3-year-old child standing just right in front of you. And I've seen this in congregation. I was in Taraweeh once, and next to me were 2 men in their mid-50s. They're grown-up men. And the imam, we were behind the imam. And the imam's son was like in 6, 7 years of age. He wasn't praying, he was sitting next to his father, looking at us. And all of a sudden, these 2 men started giggling in the middle of the prayer. And it was obvious that the child was doing faces, and they were looking at him and they could not hold back laughing. So in such similar cases, you may close your eyes just to be able to concentrate and not to be distracted. But this happens once every blue moon. So generally speaking, the answer is no. It's not permissible for you to close your eyes during prayer.
Mehwish says, can I walk in front of a person who's praying? I see people do this in the masjid. First of all, the Prophet ﷺ instructed those who are praying on their own to pray to a sutra, a visor, a screen, something that is a foot long, clearance from the ground, that is in front of you, so that anyone who sees this knows that you are in prayer, and he does not cross between you and that object you have placed in front of you. They must cross from beyond it. This is the instruction of the Prophet ﷺ, and some scholars even went further to make it an obligation, like Sheikh Al-Albani and his students. The majority of scholars say that this is recommended, but it is not obligatory. And this is the most authentic opinion. But it doesn't mean that if in a vast and big area of the masjid, I just stand up in the middle of it and pray without anything in front of me. You can put a box of tissues. You can put a special stand for the Quran, for example, to pray to. You can pray to a pillar of the masjid. You can pray to someone who's sitting down making dhikr and consider him to be your screen or visor. This is the sunnah. But if you don't do this, you're not sinful. Now, for me to pass in front of you, if you don't pray to something like a visor, it is permissible for me to cross in front of you, providing I do not violate the space between your feet and the position where you place your head when prostrating. If I move like 30 or 40 centimeters away from the position of your prostration, I'm in the clear, and I have no sin on that. And you're the one who's wrong for not praying to a sutra or to such a visor, and Allah Azza wa Jalla knows best.